What's up, everyone, and welcome to another daily episode where we're going to talk about WordPress security being a big matter of concern and a new zero-day vulnerability affecting a WordPress plugin. If you don't learn anything else from this episode, you just might learn where to focus more attention to protect yourself and others from this threat.
Oh, drat these computers. They're so naughty and so complex. I could pinch them.
Hackers have attempted to exploit a zero-day flaw in a WordPress plugin called BackupBuddy. They did this 5 million times. Sometimes they were successful. The news comes from WordPress security-focused company Wordfence, which published an advisory about the flaw earlier last week. This vulnerability could allow an attacker to view the contents of any file on your server that can be read by your WordPress installation. According to the security experts, this can include the WordPress wp-config.php file, which contains information about the website's database, the name, the host, username, and password. And depending on the server setup, it can also include sensitive files like the etc. password. It can also include files like local database backups, if again they're stored locally, which of course has tons of potentially sensitive information about your users or maybe customers. It can even cover maybe some digital product that you're selling through your WordPress website. For context, the BackupBuddy plugin, currently estimated to have 140,000 active installations, allows users to back up their WordPress installation, including theme files, pages, posts, widgets, users, and media files. Unfortunately, the method to download these locally stored files was insecurely implemented, making it possible for unauthenticated users, that means any schmuck who just happens to find a link to the files, allowing those unauthenticated users to download any file stored on the server. After reviewing historical data, the Wordfence team determined that attackers started targeting this vulnerability on August 26, 2022. Wordfence claimed to have blocked 4,948,926 attacks targeting this vulnerability since that time, meaning since August 26. That's close to 5 million attacks in less than a month. And that's only ones that Wordfence essentially has access to the data because the website is using Wordfence's technology. The vulnerability affected versions 8.5.8.0 to 8.7.4.1 of WordPress and was fully patched on September 2nd, 2022 in version 8.7.5. So if you have any one of those versions, I highly suggest you upgrade now. Due to the fact that this is an actively exploited vulnerability, we strongly encourage you to ensure your site has been updated to the latest patch version 8.7.5, which iThemes has made available to all site owners running a vulnerable version regardless of their licensing status. Due to this vulnerability being actively exploited and its ease of exploitation, we are sharing minimal details about this vulnerability, Wordfence concluded. The vulnerability comes only months after WordPress forcibly updated over 1 million sites to patch a critical vulnerability affecting the Ninja Forms plugin. Now you might say, oh wow, WordPress updates my system for me automatically, that's great. But what if you have custom code, or you have a developer in some other country, Ukraine, India, Poland, Vietnam, China, wherever, and they've developed some implemented scripts and triggers and changes to your core that they're not supposed to do, but it's the only way that they could get the system to work. They could bend WordPress to work the way that you and your requirements need. Now, WordPress came and just forcibly updated your system to fix the Ninja Forms, which is important, but it breaks your system. It could break your system. Now, this exploit was attempted against Wordfence protected websites 5 million times in less than a month, which means that these attackers were using automated scripts to test and exploit this. It was not some guy doing millions of tests manually, obviously. This is all automated. And I repeat, this is only the number that Wordfence could track because those WordPress websites had the Wordfence plugin and their security firewall plugin thing installed. There are, however, hundreds of millions of WordPress websites out there where attackers are scanning on a regular basis to see if they're running vulnerable plugins and code, not just specifically this one. Now, we saw in one of my previous episodes that within 15 minutes of any vulnerability, not specific to WordPress, but just any vulnerability out there, within 15 minutes on average, attackers are already scanning to find vulnerable systems to take advantage of. So if you take that and you mix it with the WordPress and the issues that they have, you're welcome to use or continue to use WordPress at your own risk. But there are plenty of other solutions out there that are less prone to attacks. The bottom line is I don't use WordPress ever. It can be light, it's fast, it can be cheap to develop with, but it's the most attacked system on the internet. And this is not because it's so widely used, but because many of the plugins, paid and free, are just plain unprofessional. And they put any solution that I might build with it at risk, along with the clients that decide to use it. And that's the news. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to share and smash the bell if you haven't already, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.